Good evening, good evening, good evening. Come into the Jaye Spot, replacing your G Spot every Thursday from 6 to 7, giving you real relationship talk, real relationship drama with the best night of your life. Your host Jay and Simply E, hold on, get ready to enter the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the best night of your life. Woo! You have entered the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station. I'm your host, Jay, and this bubbling beauty right here with the packages right here, my co-host, my partner in crime, Simply E. Hey, girl, how you doing?
I'm wonderful.
How are the babies?
Oh, they woke. They're wide awoke right about now. They are.
So now, are you getting like sickness and things like that?
I'm over the sickness, which I really didn't have. I had more nausea, if anything. I'm over that, so I'm just more tired now.
Okay.
I'm more tired.
Well, for those of you that don't know, I like to just blab my mouth anyway. She said it the last time, so now it's my turn to tell it. E is expecting. She has 2 packages.
I do, and they're not mine.
Explain to everybody what's going on with you.
I am a surrogate for a deserving woman. So I chose to, carry her babies for her. So I'm still waiting. I haven't broken my little weight rule yet. My tours still work. And I'm due this summer, and I'm carrying twins too. So I don't know what the sex of them are yet. I'll find out probably in January, but I'm carrying twins.
Well, again, that's an awesome thing. What an awesome gift to be able to give someone a child, or 2, in this case, 2 bundles of joy that she would not have ordinarily have had. So definitely, again, shout out to you on doing that. That takes a big heart, and just a loving heart, because everybody's not set up to do that. Like, I know I would probably be like the lady in the movie with the surrogate, with Morris Chestnut, that movie. I would probably end up having a situation going on like she did. So
I didn't watch that movie.
Yeah, the chick turned out to be crazy. The surrogate chick, like, she just did it just so that she can kind of like steal the husband. Yeah, that's probably something I would probably end up doing.
I was so upset when I saw the trailer for it, and I was just like, because I was going through the process of being a surrogate and everything, and I know that there's certain steps. You have to secure your lawyer, you have to have examinations and everything. So when I saw the trailer for that and saw this lady was a complete nut, I was so mad, because that's not how it is, It's not like that. So that's why I didn't even watch the movie. And I love Morris Chestnut. I love Taraji. Or not, it wasn't Taraji, it was what's her name? Regina Hall. Yeah. Yes. I love them. I could not watch it. I was mad because it made me look like I was a nut. I'm not a nut.
So now I liked it because she was a nut job.
See,
I liked it, but to a certain extent, I just felt like the couple, they were just like too nice. But I'm not gonna spoil it for people who haven't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Crazy lady that's having a baby for a couple. But we were off last week for Thanksgiving. So for those that celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. For those that don't, I hope you had a good time resting. Did you enjoy your time off last week?
No, someone ordered some food. I was like, no. And so I had a good time, but we didn't get the chance to really sit down and eat kind of as a full dinner. Whatever came out in the oven first, that's what we ate. So when the macaroni and cheese came out, we was eating that. When the wings got off of the grill and stuff, we was eating that. When the dressing came out, we were eating that. So no. And then when I delivered the food, and I was like, I told the children I'll be back. I'm decorate the cake when I come back. When I got back, they ate the cake.
Oh, you made a cake?
Yeah. You don't like it? I made chocolate.
Okay, because I was about to say, man. Well, that's good. What, did you have any leftovers?
Yeah, but no. So tonight when I get home, I have a turkey that is marinating. It's a Cajun turkey
Oh,
marinating.
that sounds good.
So when I get home, that's going in the oven. Macaroni and cheese is going in the oven. Dressing is going in
That's
the
oh
oven.
God, that sounds really
Cabbage
good.
is going to be on top of
Let
the
me just
stove.
drink
So
my
I'm
water.
having my Thanksgiving this week, and I'm going to enjoy my nice long eating weekend.
Well, I am currently detoxing because I had definitely did a number on Thanksgiving, and I'm very proud of the way I behaved food wise for Thanksgiving. I got whatever I wanted in, which is not a lot. I didn't eat a lot, but my thing is coffee. My family came over. This is my first year having Thanksgiving at my house, so I really enjoyed my family coming over. So I'm so happy. Hey, family. Hey, y'all. But I didn't get my homemade cake that I wanted. So that kind of sucks because I had to go to the store, and I did end up buying a cake that was okay, and I ended up making the caramel for it, but it was not a homemade cake. So sister that makes the cake, come on now. Come on, I'm gonna need you to get yourself together. Or if anybody else out there that bakes, wait a minute. Before I say this, you have to be clean. Now, don't be one of those people that go to the bathroom and don't wash your hands, and then you come and making cake and making food and stuff like that. Thank you, but no thank you. But if you're a clean person that cooks homemade cakes, hit me up. I need a cake. A simple pound cake would do. But you all do me a favor, go to our Facebook page and follow us on the Jaye Spot. Also on Twitter at Jaye Spot, and also on Instagram at the Jaye Spot Radio. And Jay is spelled Jaye for all three. Now, the last time we were here 2 weeks ago, we talked about sleeping around. Is it really all good? What do you think about people that choose to like sleep around with multiple people at the same time? Like, is that cool, or it's like,
I mean,
it doesn't matter?
if you choose to do it, I just hope that you have some really tough skin and that you can handle what you're dealing with. If you choose to go out there and sleep around, and especially for women, since we're more emotional than men, and women will say, oh, I'm not looking for a man, I'm not looking for a relationship, I just want to sleep around. Just don't lie to yourself.
Right.
That's my whole thing. If you're going to do it, just don't lie to yourself. If you can handle it, knock yourself out. But at the end of the day, you're going to be sitting there counting about how many men you done slept with and which ones are staying and which ones are leaving. And so don't be surprised, especially if you run for, whether it be political office or you have a career, in show business or whatever, and then the guys that come holler at you or notice you say, I slept with her, and you got about a good 10,000 guys saying they done slept with you. So just be prepared to deal with the consequences.
And that was one of the questions that I asked on social media. Would you be okay with your spouse or your partner being the person that basically got around with everybody? And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, that's their past, that doesn't matter. Well, here's how it does matter, because just like what you just said, you're in a room now full of political people, or just you're running for some type of important office, or you're a public figure, or anybody that's trying to do something, and your partner has this very, very plentiful and colorful past. You can't sit there and have a conversation and act like it doesn't matter, because that's going to be the elephant in the room, because they're going to see your person, and they're going to be talking about, oh man, he or she, they with them. Oh, remember what she did with her? Oh, remember that little trick he did? Or she, they start talking about stuff like that. And so then the focus comes off of what it is that you're trying to do, and now the focus is on your partner.
Exactly.
So when people say that, your past is a person's past is their past, logically, theoretically it is, but in actuality, when you're placed in certain situations, your past will come back to haunt you. So for those people that are, you're young, and people say, oh, explore yourself in your teens, your 20s, and all this other stuff, get it out your system. Okay, well, just don't, run in that same circle, because that getting it out your system could eventually catch up with you. So it's just definitely something to think about. Plus, now with all these diseases and everything that are coming through, things that even with a condom, it's some powerful stuff that's eating straight through condoms.
I can't do it. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and we had talked about that, and like the billboards up there saying we're living with HIV. And if you have HIV and AIDS, hey, I'm sorry for you and everything else, but I don't want that for myself.
Right.
I mean, me and Jamila both have worked on people who have had HIV and AIDS. We've seen what it does to the body and everything. So I don't want to. If I know I'm going to sleep with this person, I'm sorry, I got all my stuff staying. I don't got nothing, So if you don't have what I got, as far as you can't produce me a medical record saying you ain't got nothing, you ain't getting no monkey.
And that's another thing that we talked about. Would it be wrong or offensive to ask someone that you're seeing, and now you guys are about to cross that love and go to the next level and start sleeping together? Is it wrong to ask for them to take, an STD, test for STDs to see if they have anything prior to engaging in sex?
No, it's not wrong. I have a friend. She did that when, even before she got married, she showed her husband, okay, this is my test. You need to get a test done so I can see that you don't have anything, because I'm not going to sleep with you knowing that you have something, or I don't know that you may have, or whatever. I need to know. You can see mine. I need to see yours. And I'm not mad at her, because I'd rather protect myself, because you clearly aren't thinking about protecting me. So I'm going to have to protect myself.
Well, I guess that kills the string of one night stands and hit it and quit it and all this other stuff. I mean, because it's so much going on out there. And for women, I just think the physical effect. I mean, if you think that you can just go through all this stuff, all this traffic, as I like to call it, if you can have all this traffic in your South Virginia and think that it's not going to matter, somebody done told you wrong. They have really, really told you wrong. So it's just like, and this is something I want to definitely have another topic about, but I want to kind of throw it out there. Do you think, the physical shape of the South Virginia, does that matter to men?
Ooh.
Right, the condition.
So if she got that snapback or that fall in, doesn't matter.
Right. Like, does that matter? And we'll get a chance to talk about that, a little bit later. But when Yanni was here, she was telling us about the different physical damages that can actually be caused by the reckless, behavior, sexual behavior that people engage in. And unfortunately, a lot of that happened to women.
Yeah.
So it's like, now your pelvic is tilted. Now you can't hold a baby. Now you need, all this crazy stuff, because these people, you don't even know these people, and you're just engaging in all this random stuff. And it's like, okay, well, they just getting it off, and all the stuff that these people be talking on. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, that book is powerful.
It really is. It's just like, okay, I'm not just think to myself, is this supposed to be enticing? Like, is this supposed to?
That book, baby, it's so much. I'm in a lot of different groups, and when I go into the groups and I just see a lot of the same old conversation, usually, what position do you like? Show me a naked picture of you, and I just be like, aren't you tired? Like, how old are we? And the sad thing is, a majority of people in the groups that I'm in are around my age. They're in their 30s, their mid-30s, their 40s, or whatever, or even their 50s, and you're still talking about the same old crap that you talked about in high school and stuff. Like, grow up. But
well, you all, please feel free to chime in with us on tonight, 708-223-8953. Again, the number is 708-223-8953. We're going to take a short musical break. Tonight, we'll be talking about how does money affect your relationship. No romance without finance. We will return shortly. You're listening to the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station. I got you. No poverty and pain. Baby, I got you. Ain't no shame. The blocks are away to Wall Street and Pissy hallways. I got you. I got you. And I'll be
I lay my life down on the line.
Welcome back to the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartStation. I'm your host, Jay. This bubbling beauty, ray of sunshine, my co-host, my partner in crime, Simply E. Hey, E.
Hey, boo thing.
Now, you know, we always have handsome men to join us, and tonight is no exception. We have Dwayne Hurst with us here on tonight. How are you, Dwayne?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Good. That's your welcome call. Dwayne, tell everyone about yourself and what it is that you do and how they can get in contact with you.
Okay. By day, I'm a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker. I work with folks who are looking to purchase or sell a home to live in or whatever, and work with a lot of investors. So if you're looking for property, you want to invest and, buy these 2 flats, 3 flats, all these different buildings and houses that are out here, I'd be a great connection to do that. I connect people with financing, attorneys, anything that they need inside that process. The Hurst Network team at Coldwell Banker can help you to do that. I can be reached any day for any purpose, really, at 630-728-2414. And my email address is Hirsch, HIRSCH network and the number 1 at gmail.com. I'm also, as you guys know, an executive committee member with Small Business Advocacy Council, and right now a huge advocate for the education of our community on the advent of equity crowdfunding as an economic development tool. Myself and a couple of business partners that I'm working with are using it as a tool to build companies, and also what that's going to translate into, which you'll see coming right after the first of the year, and hopefully before the end of this year, we'll start the actual campaigns that'll raise money, that'll buy and rehab properties in our neighborhoods and use it to create jobs for young people inside the communities where those homes are located. So that's a new economy feature. That's a new thing that most people are not quite aware of. It's only been legal for right around a year now, but it's just starting to get to the point where you're going to start to see different business projects and entities being built using this wonderful new tool that we have at our disposal.
Now, how can they get more information on the crowdfunding?
You can email me if you want to, but you can also go to ilequitycrowdfunding.com. That's ilequitycrowdfunding.com. That's the SBAC, or you can go to sbacil.gov.org, and just go to the equity crowdfunding tab there as a part of one of our initiatives. It's kind of like all over the place. You'll see it there.
Okay.
So,
do you have any upcoming events that you would like everyone to know about?
Yeah, well, we just got done with our run for this year. We typically don't do our Hyde Park Happy Hour event. It's done on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. We start back up in January. I'm hoping to have a huge guest for our first event. We're still trying to lock that down, but we're pretty much done with our events in Hyde Park, the ones that I host at least. For the rest of the year, we're pretty much done with that. But there'll be some intermittent events that we're going to start to have, because we're going to be doing educational tours really throughout communities around Chicago to teach people about equity crowdfunding and how it can immediately, I'm not talking 5-10 years, this is immediate impact where you could essentially build an entire community of businesses without ever using a bank. Yeah, it's very serious stuff. It's not no network marketing game we plan. It's not that type of thing. This is a law that our organization wrote and pushed for and got approved in the state of Illinois, which, congressmen and legislators here can't agree on the price of a pack of gum. But this particular thing they agreed on, and they understood that it's a very powerful tool that's been used in other places, and now it's kind of available here now. And so everyday people like you and I can make investments in projects and help them to find their genesis and find their roots and hopefully grow them into something special.
Oh, well, that's definitely going to be awesome, and it's actually powerful. So we'll definitely have that information, your information posted on the Jaye Spot page, so that we can make sure everybody gets this information, because it is very important. So please definitely make sure you follow Dwayne. Give them your information again so that they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, if you follow me on social media, it's just my name on just about every network, Instagram, Snapchat, everything. I'm Dwayne, just Dwayne Hurst, DWAYNE. HIRSCH. And for the equity crowdfunding project that we expect to see coming soon, you can go to Facebook and go to Native Sons of Chicago, and just go to that Facebook page, like the page, and put it up in your notifications so that you can see kind of what we're going to be doing. And our hashtag is the power of us, because that's what it's all about. So now it's the people being empowered to make these changes on our own. And we don't have to ask anyone or beg the mayor for jobs and all this. We can do it ourselves. And my personal passion now is to make sure that we show people how to do that.
Yes.
Right.
Well, that is going to be very fitting for tonight's conversation, because since Dwayne is the money man, we're going to talk about how does money affect your relationship.
Mhm.
No romance without finance. Is that true? No romance without finance?
Not always. It's not always true. One can achieve quite a bit of romance without finance out here,
How so?
if that's what you're looking for.
Very interesting. How so?
I mean, there's always people, no disrespect to
Oh, no,
any women
no,
or
we want
anything
you
like
to-
that, but there's always going to be people who are willing to, who are more caught up in the physical side of relationships, how good someone looks, whether it's a physical build issue, whatever you like. Everybody has a different thing they like. And sometimes people get caught up in that to degrees where they allow the sexual part of a relationship to come before all of the more substantive things, and they kind of get caught up in that. So a guy in that position, if he's able to get what he wants without putting anything into that, he might take that and run in some cases. And that's when you're looking for that phone call the next day and you don't get it. It's kind of what that is. Yeah.
Like, where you at?
Yeah.
No, the phone. Let me check and see if my phone, maybe my battery is dead.
Right.
Something
Or you
wrong
call
with
him and all of a
the
sudden you
phone.
can't get a hold of him no more. That's kind of what it is. You kind of moved out, what they call it, cookies. Gave the cookies.
Gave the cookies.
Right.
I emptied the cookie jar. You cookie monster.
All in one night. Right.
You cookie monster. See, that's what happens
That's
when
what
you mess with the
happens.
cookie
Right.
monster.
And not only that, but you gave him the recipe to the
Oh,
cookie. You
see.
gave him all the ingredients
He can't
all
do
in
that.
one sitting. And now he ain't got nothing else to look forward to. So he's out.
You got to ration all that stuff
Yeah.
out. You just can't, baby. Mhm.
Now, see, a lot. Now, here's what's so crazy about this, Dwayne, and you may be breaking man code, so they gonna let us know in a minute. With this, guys are encouraging women to do this. If you it's like it's a competition.
Right.
The woman that does it all versus the woman that doesn't.
Hmm.
Right.
Which one gets the attention? Which one, does the man see?
When you say does it all, are you referring to sexually does it all
Sexually-
or professionally does it all? Or?
Sexually does it all.
Okay.
Since we're talking about giving up the cookies and then the recipe to the cookies,
Exercising.
Right.
the men, they see the woman that's giving all of that up, all the cookies.
Right.
They only see that. They
Right.
don't see the professional woman that's doing her thing. They
Right.
don't see that.
Mhm.
Why do you think that is?
I think that in part it's a part of the immaturity that exists in men that extends sometimes well into our adulthood. I'm 45 and there's people in my age group, and sometimes it's been me in my 40s that have felt like, you know what, I'm not really looking for all of the commitment or whatever. I just want to have a good time
Right.
or whatever the case might be. And so some people kind of live their lives that way and they choose that. For some men, that's an active choice. And for others, it's kind of the way the chips fall. So, we build and we meet women or whatever based on the environments that we find ourselves in. So if you meet all of these women who are not really on that, and these are these professional women that are holding you accountable, or they may not even be professional women necessarily, just a woman who respects herself and has high self-esteem and is going to hold a man accountable. If that and that's what you find yourself surrounded with, you're more likely to gravitate toward it, because as you mature, you start to find out that a lot of that is a very expensive waste of our time. We start to find that out over time, and sometimes it takes us until we're 35 or 40 to get that, and some of us quite honestly never do.
True.
Yeah.
If you all want to chime in, you guys can call us at 708-223-8953. Again, that number is 708-223-8953. What I want to start off with asking is, how important is financial compatibility in a relationship?
I think it's very important, but compatibility doesn't necessarily presuppose equality in that sense. So you don't need to make the same amount of money as I make, or I don't necessarily need to make the same amount of money you make. We just got to understand what that ground is and be okay with it. And then we're compatible financially. as long as we understand what it is, where my money is coming from, and
Mhm.
you know what to expect from that. Then in that sense, we're compatible, even if we're totally imbalanced, if you will, in terms of income.
What about you, E? How important is financial compatibility to you?
I'm agreeing with what he says, but at the same time, like I've always said that I have more than one income.
Mhm.
So if I have, 5 side hustles or whatever, I really do expect you to just have more than one 9 to 5.
Mhm.
You can't just have a 9 to 5 and think that that's okay with me. I don't get down like that.
Mhm.
Because if I'm so busy working, I need you to be doing the same thing. Now, I don't want you to work yourself to death, but I can't have you sit in my face either. It just doesn't work for me. Maybe one day out the week we can be, but 6 days out the week, you need to be working on something else besides your 9 to 5 too.
Or they sitting waiting for you to finish calling, ask, are you done? So are you going to be free today?
No, that would work my nerve. That would work a nerve. And you have to have an income. You have to have some type of income. I can't talk to you and think that we're going to be in some type of relationship and you're not working and you're not really looking forward to going to get a job. You're comfortable in your family's building or whatever, because I've dealt with that. And the guy was upset because I chose not to talk to him. And he was like, well, why not? Because you don't have a job. I got 3 children. What am I do with you? You don't have a job. Well, I mean, I just don't feel like getting one right now. Well, I don't feel like talking to you right now. So come on.
Oh, God.
What about
Did he
you?
say he didn't feel like getting?
Yeah, he was.
That would be incompatibility
Say
right there. That would be. Yeah.
He moved up here from, I think, Texas, whatever, and he couldn't find. He was trying to get this one job and they didn't hire him, so he just was like, I'm gonna relax right now. And the family all lived in this. They owned the building, so he had the basement apartment. And I'm just like, and that's another thing which I don't understand. How are you on any of these social sites, dating sites or whatever, and you have no income?
Mhm.
Why are you even on these sites? And I get you want to get you a piece and all the other good stuff. But how are you on these sites looking for a relationship when you don't have no money?
Because there are men who do understand that there are women who don't have a problem with those two roles being reversed and being the one. My mom actually was the one who told me this when I was much younger. And we remember when everybody was talking about gold diggers.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, my mom used to teach me that there's a lot of gold givers out here in terms of women who had no problem, taking care of men. And they probably refer to them more as cougars now. We used to call them vets when I was younger. We call them cougars now. But the one that'll say, you know what, baby, here, go get some clothes with the outfit, and you keep on bringing the hammer home with you, and I'll be here. So that's just choices people make.
Yeah.
So, and quite honestly, I respect when people make those choices consciously. And it's not a vicious cycle that somebody is caught up in. So sometimes a woman may very well know that she doesn't intend to be in a relationship or get booed up, if you will, with some of the men that she meets. She may know and never lead anybody on or lie to anybody about what her intention is. And there's men who won't lie about their intentions. They'll be very open. It won't make you think, oh, I'm going to fall in love with you and all this stuff just to get it and then be gone. People can be very square about that, and be very honest about it.
That's true. But I think a small percentage of people actually possess that quality. I just, even being in this age bracket, I just, it's hard to find someone that's just going to be that honest, because they fear that the person will not go for what it is, that they won't go for their truth, so to speak.
Exactly.
So therefore they'll withhold information.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where again, that's where that maturity comes in. So that, like the comment that I made on your page last night about being qualified, right? Very few people think in terms. I've heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is actually the one who I heard say it first, that men have to qualify themselves for marriage.
You do.
Right? And so being qualified, you think about, like, man, what does that really mean? Like, I'm single. I'm a loving person. I want to be loved, but it's a lot more to it than that. It's about being able to be a provider, understanding that you're in a real position to be a provider, and not really going after those types of relationships until you achieve that point. And that's why some of us now, including myself, I'm single now because I don't necessarily feel that in each and every way necessary, I'm perfectly qualified. So I decide to, you know what, I'm going to stay out of situations that'll cause me extra harm or extra time and extra money or whatever later, by just being more responsible about the choices that I make and enter only into positions that I feel like I'm qualified to be in.
Now, a lot of people would say that they are qualified. They would falsely just feel like just because they're a certain age and they make a certain amount of money, they're qualified and they're single. You're qualified.
It goes well beyond just money. I hope I didn't cut your
No.
question off, but it goes beyond that, and the qualification really goes both ways. So it's something that women have to be qualified for. I've met women and certain women and gone out, and you see people say, "Oh, I'm looking for a good man," and this and these other things. But sometimes when you start to really talk to them, you start to realize that they're not really qualified for that, because their mind is not even set to operate in that space when he comes. So it's like, I've said it to a woman before. Sometimes you could be so used to losing in relationships that you forget what winning looks like, and you start to reject a victory when it comes to you, because it starts to feel less comfortable now. Like, wait a minute, he really does like me. He really is. He's calling me 4 times a day. Like, I'm not used to that. Now I'm pushing him away. I don't want that. I don't want a nice guy no more. I want a thug now. I want a guy with a little rough around the edges, So it's those decisions you have to make, but you're not really qualified until you really know what the hell you want first. That's your first layer of qualification, and then your ability to deliver whatever it is you claim to bring to the table. So it's not always about money. Everybody has their own point. Some women might want a guy, he got to make 50,000 plus or 100,000 plus. For some people, that bar is a lot lower. But if you walk around the street and you look and you poll your family and your friends, you'll find, I know people who are both dead broke, but they love the hell out of each other and are happy as hell. So the benchmark for different people in that is very different. And you have to know where you stand in that to be really, really qualified. And so the idea of finances and their importance to a relationship, that is different in each and every relationship. It's never really truly the same. It might be very important to say both of you. It might be equally important to you, but it's equally important to you, but at different layers of that extreme. So you might be happy with a guy that's got a whole lot of it, and you might be happy with a guy that just really maybe don't have as much, but you really like his hustle. You like the fact that he tries hard and he works hard at it and he doesn't give up.
You see my confidence fall.
But you understand it.
I understand.
When we first talked about this conversation, I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if I should really, but I'm qualified to do this for a couple of reasons, because I've been in relationships before, I've been married before, and I've been in situations where finance definitely created havoc in the household. And it's not a fun thing. It's not a fun thing at all. So I learned how to get out of the practice of putting myself in situations where I'm happy on one end that I've got somebody and I got a warm body at night, but I'm constantly dealing with this issue. And then being an entrepreneur and being as busy as I can be at times, that creates another layer of difficulty in that, because then it's about, well, yeah, you're providing, but you're not at home enough. You out there at the Jaye Spot doing all this other stuff. So yeah, you just got to know it really starts with knowing what you want and what you really bring to the table.
Now, can a person with good money skills, good money management skills, have a successful relationship with a person with poor money management skills?
Yeah, if the person who does not accepts the tutelage of the one that does, then you can have that, because then you got synergy with each other. So let's just say that dynamic exists, where a lot of times it's the woman who has the management skill, even though a guy might have a little something going on monetarily, he might not be good at managing it. But then now when she says, well, baby, why don't you do this, take your money, do that, and whatever, if he starts to resist that or feel like he got to have that corner in his wallet with the extra $500 for the black budget, as I used to call it, then he resists that, then that's a problem. So you just got to be willing to accept that person being able to be the yin to your yang, if you will, in that part of your life. And then that's what makes a harmonious relationship.
What do you think, E?
I'm so stuck on just listening to Dwayne because, and I love all of our past guests and everything, but he's just really knowledgeable, and he's just talking, and I just love it because we get some that just don't talk. It's like pulling teeth, but so I'm just listening. I wish I could be taking notes when I'm doing other things, but I'm like, this is just such wonderful. This is really refreshing. So I forgot the question. What's the question?
Well, can basically a person that's good with money have a successful relationship with someone that's not good with money?
If you're good with money, you better make sure you're controlling the money. You better make sure. I've seen it. I'm always I'm storyteller. So, and I've had friends who they married and she controlled the money. He made the money. And unfortunately, she had a gambling problem. And so she would write checks and stuff. I mean, I remember I took her to the boat, so I remember. And she would write checks and wrote the mortgage check off to the boat and stuff. And he didn't know. And when he found out, he died that eye. But he had to remove her from the accounts and everything because she had such a bad habit of just spending. And then she would get into her mother's account and just clean that out too, because her and that boat. So if you have a bad thing about saving money or even handling money and you're in a relationship with someone who is very good with finances, he needs to basically give you an allowance and keep it moving and handle everything his own. I just would not trust giving you the money to pay the bills because you're not going to pay it. Mm-hmm. I will give you just enough to make you happy. This is your allowance, sweetheart, or whatever. Well, if the man, I'm sorry. If I was a man and there was a woman and she couldn't, I would give her an allowance. Now, me being a woman and he can't handle spending anything, I would ration him out some money from his paycheck. I would. This is enough for your gas. If you want to, grab you something to eat, here you go. And this is what you need. And I will handle the rest.
So do men really still bring their paychecks home to wives? I mean, I've never been married, so I don't know.
I'll never forget the first time I did that. I was my son's mother and I were together. We were married, but even before we got married, I had decided, you know what, I'm going to do something different this time. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was not at that time. I wasn't really that good at managing my own. I was making good money at the time, but I wasn't really doing as much as I felt like I could with it. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what, no problem. I would literally, we put it on my bank account. When I got paid, money went straight into the account, or if I got extra checks, bonuses and stuff, I just come give them straight to her. And anything I needed, I would let her kick back to me. I felt like I was doing a responsible thing as a man to do that and being very transparent about how much I was getting. And, so there was no mystery about where the money was, but the relationship ended up falling apart after I left that position and moved into another industry where it would take time to, build up a customer base and all that kind of stuff. And that was actually the doom of our relationship became finance, even though at the beginning I did my best to try to rectify that on the front end. On the back end, it still was, hey, if it ain't there no more, I got to go.
Now,
that's kind of what happened.
For me, I don't think that I'm financially trusting. I don't think I can trust anybody over the finances. Like I have to be over, literally, I don't think I would get any sleep, having someone else have control over the finances. I'm good with money. I don't have a problem with him looking and, seeing what's going on. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to control that checkbook. But that's why I'm gonna have to.
But again, that goes back to qualification, right? Mm-hmm. So if you know that you're dealing with a person that's qualified to do that, so if I felt like you were qualified to do that, I would have absolutely no problem with you doing that. That's one less damn decision I got to make every day.
Even if he is qualified to do it, I would
rather, to be honest with you, I would rather not do it. At this point in my life, I'd rather not do it. Whoever becomes the next Mrs. Me is going to be here. Whatever it is, if it ain't but $1 or $10,000 or $20,000 $1 million, whatever it is yours to deal with, not mine. I don't want that. I don't want to deal
your
with
little
that.
ration.
No, right. I'm okay with it. No, to be what I say it is. No. but no, seriously though, I want to be in a relationship. What I'm really saying is that I want to be in a relationship with someone that I feel like I can trust enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't feel like I trust somebody enough to do that, then they're not qualified, for that role.
Now, does the lack of money affect a relationship? Does it kind of kill the sexual chemistry?
Yes.
How
Yes.
so?
Yes, because we better be glad we can't say the things that I want to say on this station. Because there's an old saying, one an ex of mine, his ex would say all the time, but our monkey won't get wet unless her bills is paid, period. And that's how I see it. If my bills are not paid and you talking about you my man and you can't assist with my bills.
But hold on, let me throw you something on that. Sex is an instrument of love, not necessarily an instrument of provisions.
Mm-hmm.
When sex becomes an instrument of provisions, there's a word that they use for that.
What, hoeing or prostitution?
I'm not the one that
Streetwalker.
I'm just saying.
Prostitution, hoeing, street.
So you cannot when you do that. So when we attach romance to that as an instrument, we effectively make, if I could say it, pimps and hoes out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know that I come home with a bag of bread and I know that bag of bread is finna get me some and make this woman respond and act to me a certain way, that's not what I signed up for in a marriage or a committed relationship. And as a woman, you can't attest to that. Now, I will, to answer your question first, I'll say that sometimes as a man, if the money is not there, when I lost a business that I was running when the real estate market crashed the last time, 07, 08, we had been doing very well. We were good, my wife and I at the time, and when it fell apart for me that way, then we had a little money to deal with things for a little while. I kept working and trying to find a way out of it, and so things were cool for a while. But after a while, I started to feel like, damn, it became less important. Sex felt less important to me than getting out of the trap I was in. So I didn't feel like putting a lot of emphasis on that. We still found our spaces because we loved each other genuinely and we had a good sexual relationship. So, but it put a change in my mind as to whether or not, because sometimes you could literally walk up and feel like, I really don't want to deal with that right now tonight, because I know that, we still got that light bill, that thing ready, the car notes and all that got to be paid. And so we got to deal with a tough conversation as to how that's going to get done. Now, if on the nights when I would come in, we sit at the kitchen table and have the talk about it all and come and understand where we are on it. Oh, we make great love that night because we're in agreement. We understand each other. So there's the mystery of it all has been taken out. So if you're in that situation and you're in a situation where the finances and stuff like that are not coming in, sit down and address it with one another and return to the thing that made you love each other in the first place. That whole for better or for worse thing is not supposed to be a joke.
No, that's real.
And when you're talking about money, you're talking about the instrument by which we measure better or worse.
Absolutely.
So if it starts off good and it gets worse, the last thing should be on your mind is running out. You should be working to help that man fix that, or vice versa. He should be helping you fix that in your life. If you lost your corporate job and he still got his, or he's whatever his station is, he should be helping you to fix that. Sit down and discuss those things, and then the sexual part can remain because that's an instrument of the love that brought you there.
Right, and that's what takes the prostitution and the hoeing connotation off of it, because if it's below zero outside and the hawk is outside and we sitting in the house and it's cold, don't touch me. And it's dark. Right, and it's dark. I'm not turned on.
Yeah.
I'm freezing.
Yeah, even if you've talked about
I'm
it, that'd be a little tough.
everything but hot.
Right.
Someone said, but if you love me, you love me. It shouldn't be based on cash flow.
Well, my answer to that is it definitely is, and you are definitely in denial if you say that it's not, because once
it's not for some people though, Jamila.
But once the cash stops flowing and there's one piece of bread left, I'm sorry, it's just.
But do you know?
It's not romantic.
But there's people who.
We're gonna get
everybody.
through it.
Everybody has a different idea about what success is and what what it takes to be happy in a household.
Right.
Everybody got a different idea about that. I used to live in a housing projects, and I moved into the housing projects in my late teen years, when all of my myths and my misconceptions about the projects was like being this horrible ass place. But you go in there and you find people that was happy as hell
Right.
with the life they had.
Yeah.
Married couples or couples that were happy, children that were happy. You found a lot of happiness in places where other people come in and were like, hell no, you couldn't live like that. So it's just really about what two people understand about each other, and it's about staying really in your lane when you go out there. So if you hanging out in a little strip club in Harvey thinking you finna find the man of your dreams in there, you might want to change your venue. You know what I mean? It really comes down to how you make those choices. So we have to be more responsible with how we make those choices. And that's what I was saying earlier, that this is the longest probably period in my life that I've ever been truly single, and not being in a committed relationship of some sort, but it's a choice that I had to make, that I'm just going to keep that stress off my plate and make sure that I'm truly qualified to bring everything I need to bring to the table. When all of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship have played out and my shit is steady, excuse my language, is steady and moving like it needs to move, and I've got a basis of comfort that I can let a woman rest her head on, then I can say, okay, let's do something.
And I get what you're saying, Dwayne. However, people in the projects, I'm not saying that people and couples in the projects can't be happy, but again, it goes back to what you said earlier. They have an understanding. They're comfortable and things are working out for them on that level where they are. However, if there's no food, I just don't see.
But okay, so
we don't have anywhere to sleep.
So what you're talking about there is a little bit of an extreme. Okay, no food and all that, I get that, right? But for some women, that's my nails can't get done this week, my hair can't get done this week. That's what the measure of it is. It ain't about eating and staying alive and survival. It's about vanity and glamour and materialism, and that's where for men it gets to be nonsensical. So wait a minute, you see me out here working, you see me struggling, you see me building, you see me moving toward a positive upward trajectory, but you're more concerned about your own vanity than you are with maybe helping me to find a way to achieve that more quickly, or whatever the case may be. So when you say that, no bread, no food in the house, that's an extreme. But for some people, that's my nails, my hair, my shoes, what I'm wearing to the club on Saturday night. It's that.
But even with that, if they've gotten accustomed to that, then that's a part of, they've gotten accustomed to that. So now, okay, if that stuff is not done, it's a part of who they are. And I do get that. It's like, that's why when people get divorced, like what was Mary J. Blige's husband got all that money, because this was a lifestyle they was accustomed to, and y'all didn't like that when the table got turned on you. Y'all didn't like that when Bruh came after his bread, because what he said was, I'm accustomed to a certain type of life. My parents are accustomed to this, and you can't take that away from me, especially when you got a couple hundred in the tank. So you're right. Look at the look on your face. You still like, hell no. But it works both ways, That's the danger of being in that situation. Yeah, well, my advice to him was to man up. That's
so man up and take nothing?
Man up.
Man up like her producer.
Nothing. He should have got everything he's supposed to get.
If a man don't work, he don't eat.
He was her producer.
He helped to build her career. He helped to make her who she was.
When she left Jodeci, because all of them was beating on her, and he was behind the scenes.
So then he should still be getting some royalties from whatever he was doing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but he gonna get hurt.
If he was a good businessman, then I think that he would have had everything lined up.
I think he was her manager at first, something like that, and then they wound up getting married.
He helped to build her.
Yeah.
And I think I'm fair about that. I think it should go both ways like that. If I married a woman who had extraordinary means and pulled me up into a whirlwind lifestyle that she had and I did not have prior to that, and she built a lifestyle for me that I became accustomed to over a period of several years, then I wouldn't want her to leave me without anything necessarily, and especially if we're married and we've made that commitment to connect those things together, and she got more than me. Yeah, it's not that I'm gonna sponge off of you. That's not my personality. But if you're also not gonna leave me with zero, and you walk out with $100 million. Come on.
So The same person that made the last comment said, a wise woman builds a house and family. A foolish woman destroys everything she comes in contact with.
Mm.
But this is the same person, that made the comment about what was
Cash
it?
flow.
Yeah, the cash flow thing, And I'm like, I would be a fool if you and I are laying up in this bed. There is no money coming in, but yet you want to make love. And instead of us making love, let's go out. Let's get on this internet, or since we don't have that because everything is cut off, let's go over to somebody's house, utilize your internet or whatever, and then, try to get a job, some income, because everything is real. I can't be with you knowing that there is no money coming in. I would be a fool myself. And I refuse to put my children through that. I'm just not going to do that.
So you get in a relationship with somebody, things are going well for a considerable amount of time. Let's just say you're not married, but you're in a committed relationship and you legitimately love each other, right? And some type of misfortune befalls him that puts him in that situation. You cannot, there has to be, I can understand you might want to place a time limit on it. Say, look, babe, you gotta, and that's what I was saying earlier. You just have to, you have to communicate that. Everybody has to communicate that. He has to communicate what his plan is. You have to communicate what your tolerance is. So he shouldn't come home one day and you and everything is gone, right?
See, that's that.
He should know that you have placed a line of definity on that he has to step up into or prepare himself to walk away from.
And see, you already, especially with me, you already know how I am, because I'm going to tell you up front what I can tolerate and what I can't. Now, if we're together and you lose your job, whatever, fine. But if I come home and all you've been doing all day long is playing video games on that couch, you can trust and believe.
That's a different.
Now, is this dating or is this married?
I don't care if we're dating or married. If we're married, trust and believe. You will see me pack up 2 suitcases and move out.
So if you're dating this guy and he loses his job, would you stay there? Or
I would stay if he's trying to look for another job. Now, if he is not trying to look for another job, you are wasting my time, and I refuse to let any person waste my time.
There are cues that you can find when you meet a person in the conversations you have before you start trading cookies and such. You can sit down and learn enough about a person to let you know how they're going to respond when those type of trials and tribulations come up.
Right, and this is the type of
be
stuff.
Careful with that.
Absolutely, and this is the type of stuff that needs to be talked about beforehand, because if he loses his job, okay, well, what is your game plan? See, I can support a visionary, somebody that's working to make it happen, but I can't be by a dreamer. Oh, well, I'm going to do this, and one day I'm going to do this. Okay, well, one day you're going to turn around, and I'm not going to be there. Call it whatever you like. I won't be there. But we thank you so much, Dwayne, for joining us for this wonderful conversation on tonight. We thank you for listening
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We thank you for listening to the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station. Make sure you check out our Facebook page at the Jaye Spot, also Twitter page Jaye Spot, and also Instagram, the Jaye Spot Radio, and Jay is spelled Jaye for all 3. We will see you next week. Peace out.
Thank you for hitting the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com.